What's up everybody, it's Jeremy from WeldTec Designs, and today I have a very informative video for you guys. It's going to be a ton of information, so if you're thinking about lifting your motorhome, whether it's 2, 4, or 6 inches, I need to have a tape measure in my hand because I'm going to give you guys a ton of measurements. You're going to want to watch this, you're going to want to take some notes. I'm going to give you guys a ton of information about these lift kits, these suspension packages that we offer. So without any more jibber jabbering, let's get into it. Okay, so we offer 3 different kits for the motorhome that are going to give you additional height. I want to also tell you, if you're not looking to lift your motorhome, well, it's 2025 and we have a new kit. It's a HTR kit. It's just a shock package and steering stabilizer. So letting you guys know about that as well. So we're gonna do this a little bit out of order because we're gonna actually have to take a road trip and go to my parents' house and take some measurements of their motorhome. So we're gonna start off with the 4-inch kits. And right here, I actually have 2 E450s. I have an Integra and then the Coachman here that are gonna both have 4-inch kits. Now the big difference between these 2 kits is gonna be one has King shocks on it and one is gonna have the Fox shocks on it. Other than that, the kit components are all going to be the same. However, and they're both running the 225, 75, 16 tire on there as well. So the first measurement I'm gonna give you, we're gonna go off of the ground. Let's just go to the front headlight here, and to the bottom of that, we're like 31 inches right here, okay? So bottom right there, 31 inches. So you can actually go out, measure your RV and compare it to what number that we're getting right here. Now this Coachman is gonna come in at about 30 feet. We'll check the number actually on the other side. So this one's gonna have a little bit of that dovetail in the back. It's gonna give you a little bit more room. We're gonna go to the very back corner here, and we're 23 5/8 to this back corner. So you can look at this. This is a Jayco, oh, this is the Jayco Greyhawk. I have a Coachman too. We're gonna take a bunch of measurements, guys. So one big thing that I wanna show you guys on these motorhomes, like when it comes to this Greyhawk, I know Jaycos are awesome, and here's one of the big things that I want you to think about, because if you need to add another step to the motorhome, yes, we can do that, but then it just adds more cost to the motorhome, which obviously we're not trying to incur a bunch more costs. So with a 4-inch kit, as you open this up, this has that high doorway. This is still going to be really nice and easy to get into, so you're not gonna have to upgrade the stairway here. Now, if you were to go 6 inches and then add larger tires to this kit, keep in mind, we're gonna get about another 2, 3 inches, maybe even 4. So that first step up might really be a big one, or even more to consider as you're coming out of the coach. That's gonna be a really big step coming down. So things to consider when trying to decide which kit is going to be the best for your motorhome. Now we're gonna go look at this Integra right here next to us. Come on. This is gonna be a 25R. So this coach right here, about 26 feet, 4-inch kit, still the stock size tires. This one is gonna be with Fox shocks on it. And we come to the front of this and we're 31 inches. So true to itself, both of them are coming in at the same measurement. Now here's the big difference on this coach. You can see that this doorway is lower in the coach, so it only has a single step. So when I open this up, that is a bigger step to get in. And you may want to consider doing a single drop step, because now we are at about 15 inches to the top of that. So if you were to do a 6-inch kit on this coach, you're probably gonna have to do a double step, because then you're gonna wanna add tires to it if you're doing a 6-inch kit. And that step up is going to be really big, or let's say even remotely dangerous when you're coming out of it, because usually you come out of it kind of quick, you open the door, you pop down. So in the back of this Jayco, look at this, super cool. No graphics. What do you guys think? No graphics or graphics? Kind of torn. I kind of like the all white clean look on there. As we come to the back of this, we're going to be right at the 30 and an eighth really, but 30 inches to the back of this motorhome. You can see this one tapers up. Here's another big thing I want you guys to think about. When we talk about the height of the coach, we say 4 inches of additional height. We're talking about in the front of the coach. Typically in the back of the coach, it's going to be a little bit higher, where we're getting about 5.5 inches out of the rear height of this coach. All of the kits, when we say 2, 4, or 6, that's the front lift height. So just something else to consider. So these are 2 coaches. These are both 4-inch kits. All of the same components. The only difference is we did King shocks on one with a King steering stabilizer. On this one we did Fox with a Fox steering stabilizer, still getting 4 inches of height out of the front of these. Wow, that was a mouthful. All right, so now we're gonna head over. I'm gonna show you guys a whole bunch more on a 6-inch kit. All right, up next is this Jayco Greyhawk. This is a model 31F, so this is going to be a larger motorhome. And one reason that I would always tell people why you may want to consider a 4-inch over the 6-inch kit would be depending on the amount of overhang that you have. So let's talk about overhang on these coaches, because that's huge. Now keep in mind, with the 4 or 6-inch motorhome, you're able to go to this 235, 85, 16. So that's not the big variable in it. Really, it's how long your coach is all the way to the back of this. And if I were to simply take this tape measure and run it to about the center of the wheel, we're almost 12 feet from the center of the wheel to the back of this. So with more overhang, there's definitely a better chance of your rear end dragging, and we never want your rear end to drag until you're really, really old, you know? So this is gonna be that 235, 85, 16. I love running the BFG tires on there, but when we come up to the front of this, we're gonna take a measurement of this 6-inch kit. This is a 6-inch kit with Kings on it. You have the ability to run the King shocks or the Fox shocks. So let's talk about that, because the 4-inch kit also had that. What is the big difference? Well, the big difference between the King and the Fox, first of all, the name. The second thing is going to be that the King is going to be a little bit better components, external and internal components. They're gonna have a heim joint or bearing on both ends of it, where the Fox shock is gonna have a bushing on both ends of it. Both are gas pressured shocks. Both are internal floating piston shocks, meaning that there is a small chamber of nitrogen gas up on the top of it. The benefit in that is that your gas and your oil are not mixing or creating cavitation, so your shock works longer, better, and allows you to be driven further. So if you're considering it, those are some of the reasons why you might choose the King over the Fox or the Fox over the King. The King are going to be slightly more expensive due to the higher quality of components. Both are 100% rebuildable as well. So I think that's going to kind of be everything in a nutshell. So let's talk about the height of this. This is going to be a 6-inch kit. And as I come up to the front of this, and I tell you, we are at, make sure you guys like and subscribe. This is a ton of information that go into all of these videos. I would love it if you guys subscribe. Come and hang out with me more. 33 3/4. So right there, the bottom of that, we're 33 3/4 with this 6-inch kit. Keep in mind, we're getting additional height out of this tire, because if I were to come measure just the tire by itself, we're almost at 30 and we're about 30 and a half, 30 3/4 of height. This is still a 16-inch wheel. We do offer these wheels as well. This is the Ultra wheel. These things are awesome. You can do these in the what's normally polished, or the chrome or the black. Keep in mind, that's the big thing about the chrome or polished aluminum style, is like you really got to be on it to keep those really clean. Another big thing that to consider is your jacks. So you're like, well, my jacks drag. So if I come in here and measure this as well, I'm gonna be at 11 5/8 from the ground to the bottom of my leveling jack. A ton of room, almost a foot of room in there. I'm not gonna damage those. I'm not gonna be dragging them on anything. It pretty much doesn't matter where I wanna go. Your jacks are now completely safe on your motorhome, and that's huge because you don't wanna damage those and incur another cost. Just put the money towards your suspension and be done. So now let's head to the back of this. So this thing is monstrous. Look at this. This is a full wall slide on this Jayco Greyhawk. I mean, this is massive. Has the bunk beds inside. You can see that. But this slide is like the full length of this. So keep in mind that's another big thing to consider when doing your suspension. We're also able to add an additional leaf or we could do a block, add that to your leaf pack. I'd like adding another leaf. This side's usually heavier than your other side. So just a whole bunch to consider. And if you probably go and look under your Jayco, you're gonna probably notice that there already is a 1-inch block in there from the factory. So when we come to the back of this, I'm not gonna measure off the bumper because this bumper is actually kicked back a little bit farther. We are running a spare tire mount on this. This is like our backpack. However, on this one, we're just doing the spare tire mount, and then this has our slide out table mount, our aluminum table mount. We've mounted this sideways. It makes it really nice to be able to just pull the table out sideways. You can mount this vertically as well, so the table comes up the top. So here in our back corner, I'm 27¼ inches from the ground to the very back corner. And again, this is that 31F, so if you're around the same length, compare that to your stock or factory motorhome and get an idea of what kind of additional height you would gain on the back of this as well. So a ton of motorhomes here in the parking lot. We love doing these. We love making them drive awesome. The next motorhome, though, is going to be that 2-inch adventure kit. And 2-inch getaway kit. Off-grid is our 6-inch kit. The adventure kit is our 4-inch. But to do the 2-inch kit, I'm gonna have to head over to my parents' house again, borrow their motorhome. Let's take some measurements of it, so that way you guys completely understand the big differences between the 2, 4, and 6-inch kits. Really, I wanna tell you the biggest thing with this is with the 2-inch kit, I'm not usually running a larger tire. I'm just gaining a little more ground clearance. Having that larger tire on your motorhome is huge. Think of it like the pothole when you normally hit it with a factory size tire. By having more road surface on the ground, that pothole is going to seem less invasive because your footprint is larger with the tire. Another big thing about these kits is as you go around a corner, sometimes you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna tip. Well, the big thing is we're keeping the same contact patch on the road because your RV's suspension from WeldTec Designs is actually staying on the ground better because the rear spring has more articulation. Again, guys, I told you a ton of information. Maybe pause this video, go back through it. If you have any questions or I forget to cover something as well, that's what the comment section is for. It's time for a road trip. We're heading to my parents' house. Let's go. All right, so in order to do this 2-inch getaway, we had to travel up to my parents' house, who we had to pull the wheel covers off. They haven't been using this nearly as much as they should be. I'll have to get on them for that. But we want to give you an overall height comparison when you're looking at this. So we want to be accurate in our demonstrations here, guys. So we're going to come to the front of this, and to the tip of that, I'm actually going to be about 30½ inches. So to the bottom part of the bumper, which isn't seemingly that much compared to the other 4-inch kit that we did. This does have the 225, 75, 16 tires on it as well in the front. Let's head to the back of this thing. So this is a 31 foot. So this is going to be the biggest of almost all the motorhomes that we've looked at. This is a FS, still the bunk bed model. This one's gonna have the 3 slides, 2 on the driver's side, 1 over on the other side. And as I come up, we're gonna measure to this. We're 23 5/8 to the back corner of this coach right here. So there is some measurements to kind of give you guys an idea of how high your motorhome could possibly be sitting with a 2-inch, the 4-inch, or the 6-inch Class C RV kits. A ton of information in this video. I hope that I've been informative. Again, guys, I'm sure that I missed something, and if I did, leave it down in the comments section below, and maybe that will be in a future video. I know you guys have already smashed that subscribe button, rang that bell for notifications, because you love hanging out with me and learning all kinds of fun stuff about vans and RVs. So until then, I will see you guys in the next video.